Come join Kyle, John and David as they go through what's on the playlist. Find out what's everyone's favourite at Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment. We have a few segments, to be honest. In and out points, no celebs and the gossip. Back in time where we're talking about the big M's, coming attractions, what the cue. Quick checks, who'll be laughing? You abundantly. Welcome to Dual Redundancy.
Yes, welcome to Dual Redundancy, the only podcast where you hear all latest in television, entertainment, and Emmy nomination reactions from two videos with exactly the same opinions. I'm one of those hosts, David Allen, and another one is
John Berwick, and a third one is
Kyle Bridger. I would say that I am the bear of this show to John's Shogun, because he's the directing samurai, and then Dave, you're only murders, because we're always wondering what's happened. What you did to this show.
What did I do?
Yeah.
You think you are what, the bear, the funniest one on here, the big comedy series? I don't think so. I'm calling that a fraud. Oh boy, a lot to break down today. The Emmy nominations are out. It's our 11th annual Emmy nomination reaction special. They came out this morning. We're going to be talking about them tonight. We're not predicting them yet. That's later. Just our reactions to the 76th Primetime Emmy Awards that are going to take place on September 15th on ABC. This is Emmys 2024, not to be confused with the delayed 2023 Emmys that took place on January 15th, 2024. A lot of issues Google SEO going on when I'm trying to find out images and docs and stuff with that. But we're talking about the shows that came out between June 1st, 2023 through May 31st, 2024. So yeah, 23, 24, 76, 75th. There's a lot of numbers going on. We're going to crunch it. We're going to break it all down. The nominations were announced this morning. We're reacting tonight. Predictions in September. A lot to get through. We're going to break it up, kind of some overall stats, and then we're going to go kind of category by category, and then we'll finish up with some unique oddball ones at the end. So let's jump into it. Overall, some big players not in the race this year. The leaders like Succession, The Last of Us, The White Lotus, Ted Lasso, all from last year. They're all out. They're not here. So instead, we got mostly some new leaders in the pack. We have Shogun leading with 25 nominations, followed by The Bear with 23, and then Only Murders in the Building with 21. Now, for those asking, where's House of the Dragon? Where's The Boys? Bridgerton? That's all next year. It's this year's nominees. We have here, we had possible contenders like Black Mirror Season 6, The Idol. Yes, The Idol was eligible. But like The Bear here isn't for Season 3 that just came out. This is Season 2 of The Bear, which came out last summer. So Season 2 got 23 nominations. Just overall thoughts so far, Kyle. These top three, the top, leaderboard. What do you think?
I think it all checks out to me. The Bear is a very popular show, as is showcased by the celebrity talent that has rolled through in last season and this season. Shogun was a great show. I really liked. Only Murders is a very, very popular comedic show. But yeah, all the top players are there. They always love The Crown. I think True Detective getting that many noms is kind of a surprise for me. I thought it was an okay season, but I didn't know it was. I think it's kind of maybe a down year in drama or these categories in general, like limited and drama. So, yeah, it all checks out to me.
Yeah, something with like Only Murders. I feel like it always gets like a lot of nominations, but then like I'm looking at it, it's like right now it's like total, I believe it has like 49 nominations over these like 3-some seasons, 4 wins, and they're usually I think like the tech awards and stuff. And yeah, it's like, meanwhile it's like, last year I think like The Bear might have had like 13 and got like 10. So it's just like, you see the discrepancy there. Sometimes like, yeah, they've been going all in on these shows, Succession and The Bear last year. But yeah, I heard a lot, like I think a lot of people thought The Bear was going to lead, just like it cleaned up at the Emmys in January. Of course, it was going to lead for season 2. A lot of people thought with Shogun as well, especially leaving the limited category, which we could talk about in a bit, going to drama, which may be a little bit of a weaker one this year. So, like, of course, going to, especially a lot of, whether it's with acting, but also all those below the line categories, cinematography, and, that's the sort of thing, costumes. But yeah, I mean, you got a lot of the players there. The Crown, of course, getting a bunch of nominations. Hacks is a big favorite. Some surprises you have, like with Fallout, The Morning Show. How did The Morning Show get that many nominations?
Yeah, I know. I was so surprised. And Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Like, I thought that was a decent show. I didn't know it would get that many nominations, so that was kind of surprising. We're
mentioning a lot of the drama shows, and I think that'll lead to that when we get to that. Maybe why those shows really cleaned up in drama, because wasn't that many other ones to go. But if we look at it by network, it's usually a race between Netflix and HBO. But this year, FX actually posed a huge threat to that. Now, Netflix did lead with 107 nominations, but FX actually got 93 nominations for second place. This is the first time FX has even come close to winning this title. I believe it's like its previous big record back with like the OJ season was like 50 some. So like it really did well. It beat Max HBO by 2. They got 91. And then you have Apple there with 70 nominations. And then it's like a big drop where it's like, okay, it's like 38 for ABC and CBS, 37 for Amazon, but like those 4 are really at the top there. But what's wild about this is FX scored 93 nominations with just 9 programs. Meanwhile, HBO got 91 with 29 programs. So it's just like they went all in on these FX shows. I will maybe nitpick a little bit here. If we're gonna, give this to FX, there's some like accounting shenanigans going on, because like as you can see with this top 10 list, Hulu is separate from FX.
Yeah.
Hulu received 26 nominations, thanks in a huge part to Only Murders in the Building, which airs on Hulu, just like The Bear does. So if we count The Bear and FX, shouldn't we count it Only Murders in that one? So it's weird that we have FX's streaming partners separate, but then we have Max and HBO together. So then should we take out the Hacks nominations from HBO? I don't know. So I mean, I guess if you combine FX and Hulu, I guess they are the winners of today's of today's group.
Well, it'd be interesting to see, like, if you asked how many people watch The Bear on FX or Hulu.
I don't think it's on FX. Like, it's only on Hulu.
Yeah. So just it doesn't make any sense then. It doesn't, because also they brand Hulu and FX together.
Yeah. And I think the majority of people, like, how did you watch Shogun, Kyle?
Yeah. On Hulu.
Yeah. And it's very confusing. And then it's like, well, if you get down to it, it's like, well, technically FX and Hulu are owned by ABC. Well, owned by Disney, which has ABC. Wait, well, there's ABC here. There's Disney Plus here. It's a mess. But I don't know. I don't know. Congrats to Netflix. I think we'll talk about it. Maybe it's like HBO just having a weaker year. It lost Succession. It doesn't. It's waiting on House of the Dragon, Last of Us, White Lotus, and everything to come back. So of course it wasn't going to get first place this year, but to get third, really, at the end of the day, that probably was a hit for them today. But
I think I don't know how Apple has done in the past, but I think their shows are definitely starting to get more notice. Definitely a lot of shows on there I've heard about like Slow Horses, and a couple of other shows are going to have Severance coming back soon. Soon, yeah. So I think they're fully in the TV game now when it comes to prestige TV.
Definitely. They got a lot of stars, and the Emmys definitely love their stars. All right, let's jump into our first one of the night. Let's start off with drama series, because Shogun is just leading with overall nominations. Shogun's there, 25 nominations, followed by The Crown with 18, Fallout, The Morning Show, and Mr. and Mrs. Smith with 16, Slow Horses with 9, and then The Gilded Age and Three Body Problem with 6. Those 8 series are your outstanding drama series nominees. What are your thoughts there, Kyle, on those 8 nominees?
I mean, I could see another Crown win with all this happening. Sorry if you can hear the sirens behind me. They're coming for me. But I could see another Crown win with the weak year. I love Fallout, so I'm glad it got some love there. I texted you guys about the morning show. I was like, did I miss something? Every time I hear about the show, people are saying how it's not really great, but it's still interesting to watch. I'm so confused by that. I was surprised by Mr. and Mrs. Smithlove, but I'm glad for that team that worked on that. And so, yeah, Shogun. I really was glad I watched it because I asked you about it, Dave, and then I was like, well, I'm just going to tune in. And I really, really liked that show. And I'm still making my way through Three Body Problem. But I in my mind, it's not one of the front runners, but it's okay. Yeah, overall, I think it's kind of a year. But there's some good shows on there.
Yeah, I think it is like a weaker year. It reminds me of the year must have been like 2021 when it was like with everything with COVID and all the shows getting delayed, and you were getting stuff with, I like The Boys, but like The Boys was setting drama series. Cobra Kai was up for like comedy series. It's like, get out of here, these shows. Like, you don't get a spot in this. And that's what it feels like a little bit with this group. Maybe it's because of the strike a little bit. I don't know, but yeah, you don't have like the heavyweights that we had like last year with like something like Succession and something like that. I think Shogun is like the top pick right now. Just, I mean, obviously with nominations, but from all the love I've been hearing about it, I think initially a limited series. That was, I think, the plan. It was going to be entered that way, but then they said, wait, maybe it'll be a drama series, and it looked like it was a good move. It really helped get a lot of nominations for them. Kyle, you could probably speak a little bit to Shogun, like. I mean, I know you watched it all. Are you glad for all those nominations? Are you wanting a second season of it? Are you what are you feeling about Shogun?
Well, I would have thought that it would have been a limited series, but interested to see where they go with it. But I really enjoyed it. I got past the whole English, Portuguese, Japanese language, that nonsense, but I did enjoy it. It I feel like it replicated the production design and everything was very good. The acting was good. And a lot of times it was really like a Japanese show, like it was in Japanese. So, I mean, I thought it was cool. I'm for it. I'm down. Let's do another season. I could see it winning. But I from this list, I wouldn't be surprised if The Crown wins.
The only thing about like The Crown, I feel like it had a very like muted final season, and I think I saw some like thing today on like Rotten Tomato, like that means nothing, but it had like all the nominees, and they're all like, oh, like all positive, all 80, 90% or whatever. The Crown had like 55%. It was like insane. It was the only rotten show of this list, and it's like, man, it just did not connect.
Yeah, and also I feel like it came in and just died out. There was no real fanfare about it, but I feel like it has this underlying popularity of just I don't know. I don't know if it's one of those shows where like people are like, oh my god, did you watch The Crown? It's like not that. It's like people just watch that kind of, but it's still the directing for The Crown and stuff, and the production is very good. I only saw a couple of episodes from this season, but from what I saw, like it still sucks you in. I'm like, why do I care about this story? And then it still sucks you in. So they do a good job with it.
Yeah, and then you look at these nominees, and you're like, I guess, Shogun and Crown. Like, I don't see Fallout winning. I don't see Three Body Problem winning. Like, I think it takes a lot for them to really get behind a show like that. I mean, we saw it with Game of Thrones, but like it's hard, I think, to get behind a show like that. I want to talk about the morning show a little bit here. There was way too many morning show noms. I don't watch it, so I can't like really like nitpick which one like should have gotten it. But like, this isn't Succession. This isn't White Lotus. Like, when you have like about half in supporting actor from this show. Billy Crudup, Mark Duplass, John Hamm. But then you also have like over half in supporting actress, 4 out of 7. You know, it's just pretty much like that show. And then what, like, you know, The Crown?
Yeah.
Maybe 1 for the Gilded Age. It's like, really? That's the best? Like, there's nothing else in supporting actress across all of TV? Like, really? That's where it's like, I don't buy it. It's like, I think expand your palette, TV audience, you know, watch more than 2 or 3 shows. But yeah, good for them. I mean, they cleaned up. I think it's just because like all these empty spots, because there were so many Succession and White Lotus people last year that it was just those 2 shows in these categories. So it's just like, well, we have 8 spots to fill. Like, what are we going to fill it with? Let's just do morning show. Like,
but, I guess.
Yeah. But lots of John Hamm love. He's up for the morning show, but he also got lead actor in a limited series for Fargo. So he's back, baby. He's back.
He is back.
But yeah, it just feels like such like an off year. Just like, especially in this category.
It's just weird. You're telling me the morning show is like this acting showcase? We couldn't have spread this love around a little bit? It just is wild to me. But
yeah, I mean, I think like especially when you have like an ensemble like with the Gilded Age, so many people, The Crown, so many people. It's like there's Shogun. I mean, we have 1, no, maybe two nominations for Shogun. But I'm sure that's a huge ensemble cast. Like I don't know, but Amazon had a good haul with Fallout and Mr. and Mrs. Smith, both there. Donald Glover up for lead actor and writing for Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Lots of guest actors and actresses. That one actually like surprised me with the amount of like guest acting, because normally you get it in. I would expected it in like the morning show or we'll get to it with The Bear, but it's like they had Michaela Cole, Sarah Paulson, Parker Posey, John Turturro, and Paul Dano all get nominations in guest actor, drama, or actress. I love Paul Dano is as Hot Neighbor. That's his official character title was Hot Neighbor. But yeah, I mean, it was an all-star cast, and I could probably name 2 or 3 more people. Which I can't remember his name. The Civil War actor I liked in Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Wagner Moura.
I think it sounds like it could be. Yeah.
Yeah. He did a good job too.
Yeah. So, So, a lot of people up for Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
That's cool.
Yeah. While I think some things like Amazon did really well, we talked about FX doing really well. I think Disney, you could see like almost like slipping a little bit with like their Star Wars and Marvel output. I mean, we got to remember that they would have shows like WandaVision, The Mandalorian, like cleaning up or like winning Emmys, and like they used to be series noms. This year, Ashoka got a couple below the line stuff. Loki got like just 3 like costumes, visual effects. Like, you know, they're spending so much money on these shows, and I don't think they clicked with audiences. They didn't click with critics. They didn't click with awards. Yikes! You know, like it's just.
I think there's been some kind of pushback with the content with Marvel in general, and then with the content or the storylines getting critiqued by audiences, and I think even some backlash for like the visual effects and stuff that they're doing and putting out, and like, oh, this is, you know,
I even heard a little bit for that Deadpool and Wolverine. People were critiquing the effects, and who knows if it's just the trailer online or watching on your computer versus on the big screen. But you should really think long and hard if you want to spend your money on that film. You might not want to.
Don't think, just go.
Just
go. You're gonna be the only one who doesn't see it if you don't
hold on to it, and maybe check out a film like Twisters this weekend. You know, I need the help, guys. I need the help.
No, get out of here.
But I think when it comes to TV and Disney, it's the oversaturation of everything they have, and they're, you know, a lot of people feel like they're just like bastardizing lore and previous stuff because they're like super fans and they look for every, you know, little thing that's wrong, and so
and also it's just like expanding, like you have to like expand the story more, because I feel like the issue with all these things. They're so based on like comics.
Yeah.
Sometimes they get boxed in, but then it's like stuff
Yeah.
with like Star Wars. It's like, how many more stories can you like? Because like they won't like go past episode 9. It's like we can only do stuff between right before A New Hope or like right before this film. There's nothing in between. It's like there's only 20 minutes left of material you haven't covered in between these movies. Like you've exhausted everything.
The timelines run out.
Yeah, but I mean, we talked about it a little bit earlier. HBO had like a poor showing. I mean, last year they had 4 out of the 8 spots in drama series. Half the category for outstanding drama series was them. This year, just 1. And sure, these are limited series here, but they paid some like tried for some big bets and they just didn't pay off. The Regime with Kate Winslet series after Mayor of Easttown. Think it's going to get something? One for costumes. The Sympathizer, the big budget spy series, just 1 for Robert Downey Jr. in acting. So it's like you spent all this like money to give it the Sunday night premiere slot, and it just didn't connect with audience. I dropped off of watching The Sympathizer. It just wasn't doing it after 2-3 episodes, and then I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah, and I also feel like the marketing for that for HBO and Max has gotten all wonky now too, with the whole Discovery thing being brought in. So if you're not marketing the shows and really putting it out there, I think people are wondering what they should tune into, because there's with so much content, it's like, even though this has Robert Downey Jr. in it, like what about it is going to make me watch it? And like you said, if it's not there, or it's just, why am I going to continue watching this show if it's not any good? So, like the Regime with Kate Winslet? Yeah. I barely saw anything about it, and then I'm flipping through the queue and it's there, and I'm like, is this something I should check out? I know it has Kate Winslet, but I've not heard anything about it.
Yeah.
So
both these shows tied for nominations with The Idol. Yes, The Idol got an Emmy nomination. It is an Emmy nominated show. It got one for choreography or something. But
not for script writing?
Not for script writing, not for Abel, The Weeknd, or whatever. Nope, nothing for him. But better luck next time.
Because I heard the dialogue in the sex scenes is just top notch.
It's so true to life. Yeah, and then Netflix, sure, it had The Crown in there, but as we talked about, poorly reviewed final season. I think, probably they wanted more probably from Three Body Problem.
Yeah.
The first show for the Game of Thrones guys, Game of Thrones cleaned up at the Emmys. This one got in just for sound, picture editing, cinematography, and then obviously series, but like no writing, no directing, no acting, like it probably, with the amount of money they spent on it and the kind of weird, like, it's renewed for more episodes, and they're like, another season? No, just more episodes. It's, how many? Like, it was very like, what does that mean? How many episodes? How long are the episodes? Is it a TV movie? Like, what are you doing? And it just seems very questionable, that whole strategy of what's going on that show. But
yeah, also, I feel like with that show, they're really on a nice edge. I feel like it could go poorly very, very fast. I'm still not all the way through it. I enjoy parts of it, but some of the acting is not there for me. And
it's like, for me, like when things click, they really click. There's like a really amazing sequence, if with a ship, and like it's like, wow, all right, like this is captivating. Like, what's going on here? And then there's other points where it's like kind of like bored, and you're like,
that ship is exactly where I stopped.
Oh wow.
It was a good scene, but then I was like, I'll watch more later, and then I just never did.
There's no like oomph to it. There's not like, I really need to watch this. And for a show based on like this outer world coming and this, it feels like it should have more to it, and it's not there. That's why I feel like it's on a knife's edge where it could just be like really bad. So,
well, what I'm really annoyed with is, like we just talked about, like, The Idol got 1 nomination. This show went home empty-handed, so it has less nominations than The Idol. It's the curse. No curse.
Yeah.
No series. Nothing for Nathan. The most surprising probably was Emma Stone. I think a lot of people actually had Emma Stone as like not only a lock for nomination, they felt like she had a really good chance to win drama actress, especially after, the success of, just coming off of an Oscar win. But I'm just surprised at the very least do something for the stunt work, the cinematography for that finale. Like there's some impressive stuff in that even I think Christopher Nolan was talking with one of the Safdies there and was like, how did you do that? Like, and to confuse him, like that's something. So I don't know, maybe it was just like in the wrong category because it's like it was kind of like more of a comedy, but also after watching the finale, this is a limited series, right? So it's like, what is it doing here? Is there going to be more? I'd be surprised if there is.
I mean, now that they didn't get any nominations, I don't think you'll see probably another season, right?
Yeah. And that's why it's like, oh, why didn't you do like what every other show does, the Big Little Lies of it all? It's like, it's a limited series. Oh, we're actually coming back, you know, after you get your wins. Anyways. Any other snubs for you, Kyle, in the drama categories? Any surprises? Anything you want to talk about with drama before we move on?
I had The Curse. I had Emma Stone. I thought it was interesting that for Shogun, the main link between like the American side of things and the Japanese side of things was this guy Cosmo Jarvis, and he did not get nominated at all. It's like the main guy that's like how we were seeing the world through this kind of outsider's eyes, and he wasn't nominated at all, which is kind of interesting because like a bulk of the show is through his eyes. So
and they nominated everyone around him, it sounds like. But
so it's a weird one for me. And then maybe Abby Elliott. Oh, that's in the comedy. I gotta go. Everything else is good.
Is it a comedy? We'll get to it. Let's talk about the limited or anthology series category. There's only 5 nominees here, but it's a strong, at least 3 or 4. We have True Detective Night Country. They led with 19, followed by Fargo with 15, Ripley with 13, Baby Reindeer with 11, and then Lessons in Chemistry with 10. Those are your 5 outstanding limited or anthology series nominees. Thoughts on this 5?
I liked a lot of these. I still can't wait to check out Ripley. I've only seen a couple of episodes of Lessons in Chemistry, but there is a wild tonal change in like the first or second episode that Jess had me watch, and I couldn't believe it happened. I'm like, wait, what in the world that happened? So it's just wild. But of this, I shared my thoughts about Baby Reindeer. It was frustrating to me at times, but I get why it's nominated. And it was very popular amongst a lot of people. Having not seen Ripley too much, I think I would lean towards Fargo. I think Fargo had a very strong season this season. The ending's a little wonky, but I still liked it more than True Detective. But I did like True Detective. I think there's just some issues throughout that story that kind of bothered me. But yeah, I think it's an okay category.
Yeah, I've seen 4 of the 5. I haven't seen Lessons in Chemistry yet. I think, we always talk like, usually like the limited series category is so good, and then like and then last year I feel like it wasn't that good. Like sure there was beef. I like Fleshman Is in Trouble, but like you had Obi-Wan Kenobi and Dahmer Dahmer, Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story. But like, I think this year we finally went back to it. It's like, it's back. I think it's like a really strong, solid group. I mean, I think I'm surprised a little bit about the lower amount for Baby Reindeer. I mean, it is a like smaller show, a small cast. Plus, like, there's like this whole writing and directing rule where it's like only in these categories, like you get 1 nom per person per category. So when you have something like Richard Gadd, who like wrote every episode, you get like just the one nom. You don't get one for each episode kind of thing. So like that kind of like hinders your nomination total. But then it might help you when it comes to voting because it's like they'll go all in. Like right now it's like all of Baby Reindeer and all of Ripley are up against like individual episodes of like Fargo or Black Mirror. So it's like a weird, like you're judging the entire work of Baby Reindeer versus an episode of a show. But
yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. So, so maybe that explains like the sort of lower count, but then also it's like, I think it's just like a surprise, this show kind of came out of nowhere, with not like maybe household names. So for this story to get as much acclaim as it has, I was also glad to see, Jessica Gunning, who plays Martha there. Of course, she was going to get a nomination, but it's just good to see it because sometimes those things get forgotten. Andrew Scott in Fleabag, for Hot Priest doesn't, get the nomination or something like that. But also Nava Mao, who plays Terry, that was also a nice nomination as well to see. But Richard Gadd is up for producing, writing, and starring in Baby Reindeer. Let's see. Let's jump to.
And you got to think, it didn't have some controversy too, so it's probably good that it kind of was able to overcome that a little bit.
Yeah, like who knows? Like there's this whole thing. I think John sent it to me with the real Martha. Yeah, saying some of the stuff hasn't happened, but then it's like also it's like some of the things when she was saying that, like it kind of proves this other point.
Yeah,
So it's like who knows what's actually like. And again, it's a show, but like. It's the lines are blurred. So
yeah, for sure.
Let's see, like with Fargo, of course, John Hamm, Juno Temple, Lamorne Morris. That was his first nomination there. It was nice to see Winston get some love. I'm kind of glad though. I saw some people say like snub Jennifer Jason Leigh. I did not like this character. I thought the accent was so fake and so put on and just felt very like a stereotype. So kind of like glad that this one didn't, get the nomination, for Fargo.
I agree.
Yeah. The one that I was excited to see, I recently just watched it after actually coming back from Italy, was Ripley. And, I watched the movie before I went, and there's definitely obviously beats that, hit, maybe won't be as surprising, but there were some things that they changed. But man, Andrew Scott, like it's just I'm really rooting for him. Like, I don't know if like with Baby Reindeer, like, and who knows, like if they give Richard Gadd like the writing one and they give this show the other one, I really hope he gets an Emmy for this role. He's so good. He's so mesmerizing as, of course, Tom Ripley. And it's also like, at first I was like really turned off, like, like seeing like the posters, it's like, oh, black and white. Like, am I really gonna like? It's beautiful. Like, it's so the cinematography, the production design, it feels like it's of the time. Yeah, it's like this like noir like thriller. Like, it has a different tone than like the movie. I would really recommend it.
Yeah, I've heard it's really really good.
Yeah,
I just aren't the episodes kind of long? I think it's just like
I think they're not much, they're definitely shorter than like The Boys and that kind of stuff.
All right, then I can do that.
Yeah. I think there's a couple that are like normal, like 40, 50-minute episodes.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard great things. I just gotta jump in.
Yeah. So I like this group of nominees. I haven't seen Lessons in Chemistry. That initially felt like this, and we'll get to it in comedy. This and Palm Royale felt very like, you guys are stars. Here's some Emmys, like especially Palm Royale. Again, we looking at like the reviews, it's like, did anyone actually really watch this show? But I don't know. Still, with 4 out of 5 at least, maybe to some 5 out of 5, that's a pretty good category, especially when you look at like comedy and drama series.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's jump to comedy series, unless you have any other.
No, I didn't have anything for the limited series.
All right, so here we go. The Bear led with a record-breaking 23 nominations, followed by Only Murders in the Building with 21, Hacks with 16, Palm Royale with 11, Abbott Elementary with 9, What We Do in the Shadows with 8, and Curb Your Enthusiasm and Reservation Dogs with 4 nominations. Those are your 8 comedy series nominees. What do you think about them, Kyle?
I think it's a lot of the usual suspects, some surprise in that regard. I think what we do in the shadows is maybe a season or two too long. But I think at this point, it's just like, we'll just throw them in there. They kind of deserve it. Reservation Dogs, I've heard great things. I haven't watched past the first season. I was surprised to see Palm Royale. I didn't know they got that much love. And I think the others are, the usual suspects. Good to see Curb get a final nomination here. Although I don't think it's good enough to win. I thought it got better as the season went along, but not as strong a season. And I really do think it's between Only Murders, Abbott, and The Bear, but I don't, especially going to this season, it's not a comedy. It's not.
No. But let's just break it down. The Bear, record-breaking 23 total nominations. That's the most ever for a comedy series. 30 Rock had that record back in 2009 with 22 nominations. And I saw a tweet today. It's like, there's more jokes in one episode of 30 Rock than all of The Bear so far. And I think it's true. And I love The Bear. I really like The Bear. But, it's not a comedy. It really isn't. And we're really stuck with this, 30-minute time thing. It's just very... Because, there's more tense moments. There's more, stomach moments than... even, Succession, I was that's a comedy. That was in the drama category. It's... Lines are so blurred, but I feel like there's been a lot more backlash than usual with this category, specifically with The Bear. And I don't know what this means for, its chances this season. Season 2 was so strong, and that is the one that is
very strong.
And that's the one that is technically up for wins in, this time around. And when season 2 was airing last year, it really helped season 1. I will say it right now. The Eben Moss Backrack, who won for season 1, did not deserve to win for season 1. He really deserved to win for Forks, which was in season 2. But people saw that when they were voting on season 1. That's what helped him win that. So it's but now he's up for Forks. Are people going to remember that? Or are they going to judge his work that was airing this year in season 3? Did he have enough this year to warrant the win this year? It's it's a very weird system, and that's where it's these things aren't actually winning for what they should be winning. And I feel season 2 really helped season 1 last year win so many awards. I wonder if season 3, which just came out, we won't get into spoilers now, maybe we'll talk about it in our next podcast, but I've seen all of season 3. I feel like a lot of people are kind of unhappy with how season 3 was. It felt like you almost took what I heard, the creator had a 3-season plan, but now it's at least a 4-season show. So season 3 felt stretched out. And at the end of the day, after thinking about what actually happened in those 10 episodes of season 3, so it's will that now hurt the wins? These votings, the initial noms already were, in before season 3 came out. Will that now affect how, season 3 or season 2 will win come this September? Can something that's actually a comedy like Hacks, a lot of love for that show, win? Abbott Elementary, a solid network comedy, that'll be really interesting to see. Or if they're just gonna be no, this show is still amazing, and whether it's a comedy drama doesn't matter, it's the best show, and it's a really good show. I really like the show, but
I think with the nominations being so high, I think it's still well received, and I think people, despite the kind of critique of this season, I think people will still recognize that it's a great show, and even with that performance by Eben Moss Backrack, I have to go, oh yeah, that was from season 2, and it was very good. Season 2 is the season that this show should get more love for, because the season 2 is very, very good.
But did it already get that season 2 love for season 1? That's the question.
I think it's still a well-loved show. So I think it's going to clean up still, but there's plenty of time till.
I'm honestly surprised that The Bear didn't get more love in the supporting categories, like the morning show we talked about, because, you see it with Ted Lasso, like, in years before. It's like everyone on the soccer team got a nomination. It's like, really? This person? Who's this? They're not even on the show. And this year you have Liza Colin-Zayas, Evan Moss-Backrack, and Lionel Boyce for your supporting nominees. Of course, you got your leads in Io and Jeremy, but I could have seen, not that they need it for season 2, but like Abby Elliott, Oliver Platt, Maddie Matterson, even like it's just like I could just see them giving it to everyone on this poster. It's just like I'm surprised they didn't, but I like they actually did it right. They spread the love around, but they're so used to doing something like with Ted Lasso, White Lotus, Succession, where it's like, hey, you're on the show The Bear, you get a nomination.
Yeah.
But Io did jump from supporting to lead this year, though. She won for supporting last year, and if we look at the lead actress category, she's up against a lot of multiple nominees, a lot of winners. Jean Smart already won twice for Hacks. Quentin Brunson, who's also up for writing this year, won this category last year. Maya Rudolph has 3 other nominations this year in different various things. So it's like you have a lot of strong contenders in this category, a lot of previous winners. So this would be a really interesting one to see. It's like, will Jean Smart go 3 for 3 for those 3 seasons of Hacks? Will Quentin Brunson repeat, from last year's win, or will Io repeat for last year's win in a different category? So it's going to be a very competitive category, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I think we'll know. I'm going to say this probably for our prediction episode, but if this isn't an early category, if we've got some other nominees and it's going the Bears' way, I could definitely see it just like a freight train and keep going. Because I really do think this is probably her best chance to do it, because it was a strong season for her and it's probably a good step up.
And she got a lot of love for directing in season 3.
Yeah. So
and she had a great just year overall in life.
Yeah. So I think now would be the time to do this kind of category, jump and really take it. So we'll see.
We'll have to wait and see. Let's looking at some other nominees here. I'm sad Curb won't have too much to end with. You mentioned it, Kyle. Like, was it its best season? Definitely not. But just 4 noms. Really, I mean, just the main ones were for LD and for series here. None really for, guest stars. You didn't get one for Jerry, or even, supporting actor for JB Smoove. It's just, of course, you give like the one for, Larry, who's been nominated for, 20 plus years of the show at this point. But Jerry did get a nomination for Best TV Movie for Unfrosted. So there you go, Jerry.
Yep, he did.
I honestly was like, does that count? And I'm like, yeah, I guess it wasn't a theater movie.
No.
So I guess it's a TV movie. Good for him. But
yeah. It's just funny that Netflix can have both TV movies and, Oscar-worthy contenders and on the, it's just funny.
Yeah, because I really thought like Unfrosted was going to be a Razzie contender, but I guess it's not. It can't be because it's a TV play. But another weird one. So this one is The Other Two. Now, so this is really strange. So it got a comedy writing nomination. It got one last year too, for the same season. Because this is like some like weird like hanging Chad type rule where it's like half the season was eligible last cycle, and the other half was this cycle, because it aired like in between. This episode that they got nominated for, Brooke hosts A Night of Undeniable Good, aired on June 15th, 2023. So it's like 15 days after the cutoff of the last season. So I have no idea what that means for like season 3 as a whole. Like, was season 3 eligible last year? Was it this year? Maybe it was like, oh, you had 7 episodes last year, you had 3 episodes this year, so that's last year. So, like, I don't know what the exact rule is, and maybe that's what confused people, because like if you ask me, looking at the comedy list, it's like I would have thrown the other two on there. Season 3 was really strong, but maybe people didn't know. Like, can we do this? Like, it's this weird.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
half.
I thought there was like a rule in the past where like if you aired before this date, the entire season counts. So the fact that you could split it, also it seems counterintuitive because like everyone's gonna forget about it because it's so far away. I don't know, but I agree. If the other two is eligible, I think it kind of deserves a little bit of love here because
Palm Royale, like
yeah.
But let's see some other ones. You know, the Frasier reboot. You know, Frasier used to be huge, man. Frasier got 108 nominations back in the day, 37 wins, including a record-breaking 5 for comedy series. Just got 3 below the line categories this year. I don't know if it's just, you know, I heard it's getting, you know, they're doing season 2 now and fixing some things up, but like, and season 1 gets better, you know, throughout, but like, I think they wanted more. Maybe it's because, you're on Paramount Plus, who's watching that, you know, kind of thing. But poor Frasier. They're not calling again. But the one I think we gotta talk about, I'm sure you're excited for. He's the most devious bastard in all New York City. Matt Berry, first nomination ever, and for What We Do in the Shadows. I believe he's the first actor from the show, I believe, to get a nomination as well. I could be wrong with that. I'll see if I could double check that. But I know the series, you know, I think it was like seasons 2 and 3 and now 5 have gotten comedy series nominations, and definitely has gotten some writing ones throughout the years. But I think
he's probably the best part of the show.
Oh yeah, I love his character.
He's so good what he does with that character. So I think he's the best part of the show. I think he deserves it. And you said this is his first nomination?
Yeah, this is his first nomination ever. Wow.
So that's good. I mean, honestly, he should have won he should have been nominated for the Jackie Daytona.
I love that episode. But yeah, I mean, all I could say is, like, I hope you can hear this, Clem Fandango. You know, Toast has done it. Yeah, and Matt Berry's got a nomination. But who knows? We'll see. You know, the final season of Shadows is going to be coming up soon. Can we get, forgetting all their characters' names. Who's the other lead vampire there?
Oh, no. I know.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I'm losing it. Yeah.
We're losing it. But he should get a nomination, too. I don't remember. Let's see if I can pull this up here. Nandor.
Nandor, yes.
Yeah. Kevin Novak. But all right. Any other things to talk about with comedy series, Kyle?
Comedy series. Let me take a look at my notes. We mentioned that. Sorry, I'm just like. I just thought it was cool. Selena Gomez was nominated along with. You know, now that the other two have kind of gotten their nomination, she's kind of been shown some love. So good for her. Mm-hmm. I know she needs it. When you hear this, Selena, reach out to me, okay?
Yeah. And that,
and Palm Royale, why?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think either of us saw it, know anything about it, so we're not the ones to talk about it. But yeah, I didn't know it connected with the audience. I really did not know. And like looking at it, it looks like other top nominations it got Kristen Wiig for lead actress in a comedy series, and then Carol Burnett for supporting actress. And you know, you should have been doing this and giving her some love for Saul. I mean, giving her the win for that one. That would have been nice. But can Saul be up in this year's drama category? Like he would have won.
Just put out one more episode.
Yeah, just do one episode on the
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about just some other like hodgepodge, you know, just miscellaneous ones here that kind of stood out to me when I went through those. I go through these documents. There's like hundreds of pages, and I'll like Control F and I'll see what I can find of some fun ones. And I was happy for some The Traitors love. Season 2 of The Traitors. I got in for reality competition program and a nomination for the host, Alan Cumming. That was really fun to see. Really great season. And Speaking of the host of a reality competition, Jeff Probst actually is back in the mix. This is his first nomination since actually winning the award the first 4 times it was given back 2008 through 2011. I always thought this was interesting where like he won the first one. He wins it for those first 4 years that the award is given, and then is not nominated again. And that's always like this weird thing of like, I feel like there should be always like a tail like off where it's like, okay, it's like you won these 4, you at least get the nomination the next year, and then you fall off. But to be like, I'm the best, I've been the best for 4 years, and then it's like, yeah, you're not even good enough to get you nominated this year. It's like, really? But he's back in the mix. I always want to talk about scripted variety series because what a joke this category is. You have just 2 noms this year. Like last year, I think there was 3, but this year it's 2, and it's SNL versus John Oliver again. It's like, why we even do this? I don't understand, because like I think like all the talk shows were mad that Oliver was always winning, so it's like, okay, we got to split him up. He does something different. He does a weekly thing versus we do a daily thing. But then the writing staffs are still combined into one category for outstanding writing for a talk series. So these 2 are competing in that writing category with The Daily Show. So why are they in a different category here? It's just like... Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense.
And if there's not enough to only have 2 nominees, put these 2 with the other ones.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know.
Because honestly, there's not many like sketch shows anymore unless... Tim Robinson is coming out with a new show or having his show back. Also, I know it's probably considered a talk show, but like there was scripted elements to it. And then this was my whole thing about shows like this. It's like you could have easily put like John Mulaney in this category.
I'm really mad that John Mulaney's not in any of these categories.
Yeah. So like, even though it probably would have gone under talk show, which you could argue he deserves to be there as well, but you could put him in this category as well, So
yeah, like just to set things up. So it's like outstanding scripted variety series is Last Week Tonight with John Oliver and Saturday Night Live. Outstanding talk series, there's only 4 this year: The Daily Show, Jimmy Kimmel Live, Late Night with Seth Meyers, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. I can maybe see Kimmel, Seth Meyers, Stephen Colbert, different than John Oliver. But The Daily Show is the same as John Oliver. It is a scripted show. It's sure, there's a guest segment at the end for like 4 minutes, but sometimes John Oliver does like a weird bit at the end. So it's like those are the same thing. And that's what I don't understand. And yeah, you bring up John Mulaney. That was one I was actually really mad about. I love John Mulaney. Everybody's in LA. I thought that should have gotten some love, over any of these, but especially if you only have 4 nominees and 1, 2 and another, just throw this one in. I know there's some rule. It's like, it's like a certain percentage. Like, if you only have like 10 nominees and you can only have 4 of these, like that's why like if you have 50 drama series, that's why you have 8 drama series. Like it's very like this math kind of thing.
Okay.
But yeah, Mulaney should be in here. The show got only 1 for picture editing, which is funny because it was a live show.
I know. Yeah.
But
okay.
Yeah. And I have the host from Hot Ones here. The Hot Ones campaigned and successfully petitioned to be eligible for the talk series category, but the show didn't get nominated. So it tried to be in that outstanding talk series.
I was going to say, is there like an internet awards? Because it's probably would be on there.
But it's interesting though, Kyle, because what is Netflix?
I know. It's
Netflix versus YouTube. Like
I agree. Yeah. I mean, and pretty much every guest that goes on that show who's done interviews in the past, Conan, like other comedians, stuff like that, they say, dude, you're a really good interviewer.
Yeah.
And like probably that show goes farther than any of the late night talk shows. He probably gets more out of it than those shows do. So
definitely. I got a couple more, but any other like weird ones, Kyle, that like stand out to you? Any?
I saw that I'm Just Ken performance got Ryan Gosling's little performance there. got an Emmy nomination for like choreography or something like that. So it's just still being
It's
nominated.
still going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I let's see. I think I saw there was actually like a bunch for like Gosling where he's up for the host of Saturday Night Live. That's in the guest acting category. There's usually one or two in there, but he made it in. I'm trying to see if I can have the other nominees here, but yeah, he's up against John Bernthal in The Bear, and like Bob Odenkirk in The Bear, and Will Poulter in The Bear, but he's there as the SNL host.
Okay.
So yeah.
Cool. I didn't go through every category or anything like that. But one that I did see that I'm glad she's getting, some love recently. She did very well at the roast of Tom Brady, and I think people were surprised how well she did. Nikki Glaser, and she got some love for her special on HBO Max. So good for her, because she absolutely killed it there. So it's good to see that love is getting received for her special. So it's good.
Yeah. It's funny, the roast is up for Outstanding Variety Special, and you look at that category, and it's always the same ones every year. It's like, it's the Grammy Awards, the Oscars, the Tony Awards, the Super Bowl halftime show, and that's what it is this year. It's just yep, you got those, and maybe one sneaks in. I'm surprised the Emmys don't give an award to the Emmys for oh, your ceremony last year was so good. But the two that kind of stood out to me, just some people we always talk about on the podcast that we like. There's no Tim Robinson this year for I Think You Should Leave. He wasn't eligible. He was last season, but Eric Andre got his first nomination. So good for him.
That guy is insane, man.
Yeah. And then John Wilson got some more love for the final season of the How To with John Wilson for hosted nonfiction series and also for writing for a nonfiction program. So just some, I like to see some love for John Wilson. And
is he coming out with a new? Is he?
I think he's working on something, but he's done with John Wilson. I mean, the How To with John Wilson, but I'm sure he's working on something.
Something, yeah. But that show is great, man. Yeah. If you just want to relax and watch something and see where it ends up, it's you have no idea where it's going. So it's a very good show.
I think that's it for Emmys. I don't have anything else. That's all I got, and at least for now, because we will be predicting these, come September for the ceremony that's going to be on September 15th on ABC. No strike seemingly this year to delay it till January, so it'll be September, hopefully. But until then, we're going to be back at the end of the month to catch up on some of the media, that we've missed so far this summer. We talked a lot about The Bear tonight. Probably we'll talk about The Bear Season 3 that came and went during our time off. The Boys is wrapping up its fourth season. And then maybe, some movies. Kyle and I, a few weeks ago, saw The Bike Riders. I may try to see the Twisters. The Twisters. Drop the, it's cleaner. But yeah, so a lot of stuff we've been watching and partaking in this summer. We'll catch up on all of it on our next podcast. You can find episodes of the podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the blog, doordoncy.com. We are live on Twitch, twitch.tv/doordoncy. We're also live on YouTube at the same exact time. And you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and on TikTok at doordoncy. I got to thank both you guys for joining me tonight. Very quick turnaround from these nominations this morning. John, so many images I threw at you, a couple hours ago, directing the show. I couldn't do it without you guys. Thank you. Well, all right. Until next time, I'm David Allen.
Jumper.
And I'm Kyle Bridger.
And that's all we got for our 11th annual Emmy nomination reaction special. Until next time, goodbye, everybody.